That great IP together with that great game was just such an exciting opportunity.
There is a lot of really dense detail in this trailer. It bears up to repeated watching.
So we've worked on lots of games at Maverick over our 20 years, but there was something really attractive about this proposition.
We knew that the Games Workshop world, that world of high fantasy with Warhammer, was something that would transfer really, really well into Total War kind of instantly. Anyone who sees that can see that it's just this match made in heaven.
In the trailer, we join a light wizard who's undergoing a feverish search for sort of answers to the ongoing war that seems to have plagued the world.
And as he's searching, we're able to kind of dip into his visions as the book that he's looking and searching through starts to corrupt him, starts to play on his mind and offer him up, or assail him with all these visions of the world at war. We're our own worst critics about the kind of detail that we put into our games and the assets that we create to promote them. And so we really wanted to get every single little detail right.
For example, the light wizard and the light college he inhabits, the amount of detail that went into the actual design of that location, from the different architectural styles of the actual building itself, different levels of dilapidation, but also what would be on the table, for example. They use refracted light, so there'd be certain sort of implements. Even the symbols and the symbology on the robes and the things they carry, down to the smallest detail, you had to get this right. So the trailer has two distinct types of style within it. It has a photoreal style for the sequences with the wizard, and then you have a more abstract, painterly style for the world sequences.
Warhammer world is quite heavily stylized. Everything is slightly oversized. And because this is the world of the book, this is the world like inside of the story, we decided to make it a little more painterly, a little less real.
So we chose a photoreal style for the trailer, for the wizard particularly, because we wanted people to relate to him as a character.
I think the biggest challenge of the project was to really capture the reality of the character. And we have amazing tools right now. We've got great mock-ups, we've got great performance capture and a lot of other techniques. But it really doesn't capture everything. So our answer was actually to shoot everything with the same actor who was the base for the scan for the light wizard. And we actually played the whole thing, trying to get the same angles and the same editing as in the final film. We used it as a reference for the animators so they can see all these little shakes of the hands, all these little shakes of the face, which normally are filtered out during the process of normal performance capture.
We had some great help from the Total War team because they're obviously working on the game, so a lot of the modelling and stuff and interpretations of the characters have already begun.
It was actually a pleasure to work with such amazing assets. We didn't have to design any things, we just had to use the existing high-resolution assets from the game and just add a layer of reality over it.
When it came to audio for the trailer, we're really lucky to have a BAFTA award-winning department here at Creative Assembly.
It was definitely a challenge to work with the kind of creatures and the world that we had, because they've been seen a lot, but not many times have they been heard. So all of the sound design was done bespoke. We used our own voices, actors' voices. Audio has a real key part to bringing the creatures to life because it just adds that kind of sense of reality.
One of the big challenges for the trailer was in depicting chaos accurately. It's not something that's been seen a lot moving over the last 25 years, so it's really interesting and uniquely challenging to get that on screen.
Chaos is a dark force that kind of pervades and is constantly trying to break through into the world and take over elements of it and change them, and it's never really something that you can define, so you have to kind of create a sense of chaos, and then it's in the change it makes on the people that its kind of force is visualised in. And so It was a complicated idea just to nail down the concept of what it is before you even thought technically about how you're actually going to visualize this in a realistic CG form. There's lots of different elements that you have to balance, and we have to go back and forth to kind of create and refine and add elements to kind of create this kind of really unpleasant sense of something taking you over, which is organic, and driven and menacing.
And one of the nice touches that I don't think a huge number of people have picked up on is that when the wizard's reading the book throughout the trailer, you can see little tendrils of chaos kind of chasing his fingertips in some of the scenes. And it was important to kind of drop those little details in and sort of build up that kind of menace and that idea of this book coming alive.
There's lots of highlights when you work across a project such as this. I think the bit that sums up most is probably just the moment where the camera moves wide to show the greenskin hordes moving towards the human forces with wyverns and giants and fireballs. And for me, it just sums up the promise of both Warhammer and Total War together. That is the promise of the game right there.
I think my most favorite scene would be a zombie dragon, because it's a zombie dragon, right?
Our satisfaction with the amazing trailer we've ended up with is just seeing people online saying great things about it, and I think that's probably the absolute best result we could have hoped for. It makes the whole process, the 2-year process, really worthwhile.
There's no more fun to be had in making people excited.